Hello everyone, back to the live. And wait a minute, let me just increase this volume. Alright, welcome everyone to the channel. And in today's live, well, first of all, I have been out and there were like exams and stuff, so I had to take a break from live streaming, but I did do some work on the game. And I'm going to show you what I have been doing. And there is a bit of improvement in the game and a few things that I wasn't able to show. I will try to show them all, and I will try to explain how I actually did all of those things. So first of all, let me show you what are the deadlines and the new task that we have for the month. So by the end of the August, I have to complete these few tasks. First of all, the core gameplay. So right now our player can move and interact, and it does have a camera, a kind of a good camera. I will not call the finished product yet, but the movement and interaction has been completed for a simple prototype. But the stealth system still is not. I haven't started working on the stealth system, so we have to work on that, and we have to work on the base AI systems so that the AI can follow a certain path, maybe walk around the corridor and stuff. And it should also have perception, so it can detect us. And I'm going to work like I will make a complete monster or a ghost AI which will do certain tasks which is unique to that particular AI, and so that there will be a base AI which have all kinds of functions, and then there will be a completely separate entity that will be our, I would say, boss of the prototype version of the game. Okay, so those two are just for the gameplay stuff. Now for the environment. So firstly, I have to make a part of the building. I'm thinking about a simple floor where the where like we will portray some kind of a hospital and some kind of experiment gone wrong, and now there are monsters there and stuff like that. So we have to make that floor, and in the floor we have to put in the AI and some puzzles for the player to solve. And I still do want it to be playable and enjoyable. And by the playable, I mean that the game should be running at least 70 FPS in epic settings. Okay, so graphic settings should be at epic, and the game should be running at least 70 or 60. It should not be less than 60. That's what I want to go for in my system, so that it can run in your systems at least nicely. Yeah. And after that, we have the user interface like menus and player HUD, and let's say that we interact with a note or a file so that we can read it. So those kind of user interface, I have to work on them as well. But there have been progress. And the progress says that we have completed the movement, we have completed the interaction, and I will say that we have also completed the camera. Nothing on the AI system yet, but we have completed a part of the building. So how do I, yeah, so we have completed a part of the building. I will show you. I haven't done AI and puzzle placement, and it is not playable and enjoyable yet. It is playable but not enjoyable. And about the user interface, I have completed. Have I? They don't look nice, but they are functionable. So menus are functionable, but they don't look well. And same, I think, yeah, user interface, I have to work on it. Okay. All right, let me show you guys the progress in play. So first of all, I upgraded this note. Okay, so this is the new note, not some like rainbow color or something. It's just a simple note with my beautiful writing on it. So, and what this note basically have for now is ability to contain certain kind of a message or have the code for the logpad. Okay, so it can have these two things, and it works by this. So if the logpad is none, which means the logpad actor itself is not valid, that means that whatever we put here, so let's say hello world. So if I say hello world in the text, then it will, and I will interact with this node, then it will say hello world. Let's see. So if I interact with this, it will say hello world. But let's say that on the other hand, this logpad is not none and it does contain certain kind of logpad, then it will showcase its own combination. And how we can do that is if we go over here and select this logpad. How do we do this? Yeah, like this. So now this node contains the code for this logpad. As you can see that as soon as I put in the logpad, the text changed from hello world to now the code of the logpad itself. So that's what we can do with this, and we just have to change this combination inside the logpad and it will automatically change over here as well. It should have done that. Can we refresh it or something? Let me just select it again. Okay, so that's how the notepad is going to work. These notes are going to work. So now if I go over here, I read it and it will say 2674. Then I can come over here and actually put in the code 267 and 4, and as soon as you do that, it will unlock anything that is behind the logpad, and it will drop down the logpad. So now the logpad itself have physics, and if I'm able to, I can actually kick it if it's possible. I don't think it is, but yeah, anyways. Similarly, go for any log in the game, it can be unlocked this way, and you can get the combination this way. Give me a minute, I will be right back. Too soon for a break, but I have to take it. Hello, hello. I'm back. Sorry about that. Whatever. Alright, so let's go back to the game and stuff. So that was about the note, and I have also like updated the UI for the log. So now if we interact with this, we have the controls showing up for us, and the like there is a completely separate. I can have my mouse. Oh my god. Okay, so as you can see over here, we have our log pad. One more minute. Bad day for streaming, so all right. Let's again focus on this. I hope my voice is traveling. I really don't want this to just end up. Okay. All right. So firstly, we can now see the controls of our log pad. We have a completely separate log pad in front of us, which we can basically interact with. And as soon as we we can also get out of it, but for now the key for getting out is escape, and if I press escape it will just end the game. So just for this purpose I will be changing this escape key from escape to L. Okay, so now we can interact with the log, and we can press L. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So I forgot about one thing, which is that the log pad have a completely separate mapping input, and it have this escape key which also need to be switched to L. Okay, so now if I press L, we can escape it, and now we can go and do our other work if we don't have the log pad combination. So like the player is not stuck on the log pad and cannot get out unless he have the combination. Okay, so firstly that has been solved. The item slot have not been resolved. I haven't figured out the way that we want this to happen, but even for now, if I we don't have it, but we can, if there is something that can be placed inside the slots, then we can change it. And there is this bug right here. If you can see, I don't know, let me zoom it in. And think that oh yeah, so this one, right, this one. So right now I have two batteries. Okay, but it is kind of like overlaying the two on one, so that's kind of a bug. And if I, let's say, have another one, now it's kind of yeah, the one is still there, and now it's overlaying three on top of the one. So I really don't know what the problem is, but it we have this bug. So we need to fix these few things. And lastly, for the environment, I have created a prototype environment. Let me show you. I am using marketplace and fab assets for this, and mainly we have these options that you see in green being used as like external, and the blue ones are oh, you cannot see it. Wait a minute. Okay, I think that was kind of difficult. Okay. Right, so now as you can see that we have multiple stuff in the in our content browser, and some of the folders are colored green and some of the folders are colored purple and blue and stuff like that. So the main reasons for them is basically the blue ones are the epic based, the normal brown ones, or you can say skin color, is our own assets and our own yeah, our own assets and blueprint. Basically the green ones are the ones that I have installed from the fab marketplace and stuff like that, or fab marketplace or some other places, but they are completely genuine. You don't have to worry about other things, legal things yet. Right, so after that is done, I have created this map where we can roam around, we can put our AI, and this looks clean and looks new for a abandoned hospital or something like that. So we have to work on that. But other than all of those things, I am so happy to say that this whole map runs above 70 fps on epic settings, which is kind of crazy, and it runs above 70 fps in engine. Okay, so in game it actually runs above 60 fps in basically cinematics settings, which is awesome. Okay, so I was able to achieve the playability. Is still not enjoyable though. I have put some of the props here, but not a lot of them, and most of the rooms are completely empty. I have filled some of them, like this, basically a counter, I would say, uh, a in-house pharmacy or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, we have this room. Then we have a storage room over here, right? And I want this to make some kind of a server room, or like technical room, you know. So this room in itself will contain computers and maybe engineers and stuff like that. So this room is for that. Still incomplete. I haven't finished it. Then there is this room. I still don't know what to make of it, but I just put some props into it. And then there is workshop room, and we have a work table with a note on it, which maybe help the player into opening up one of the padlocks, which helps the player opening up some kind of door or cabinet or stuff like that. All right, so that's basically is the progression. One more progress that I have done is, I mean, it doesn't look good, but it is kind of a progress. If we go inside the main menu, yeah, and I play it, as you can see, we have art behind it. It's actually my own render, so I have rights to use it. So we have this earth, which is kind of like, this is a animation, this is not a still image. So the only thing left to do is basically we need to run this when the widget is being created. Okay, so let me do that real quick, and then we can move forward with enemy AI. Right, so on event construct, before the binding of the events, we have to get this image. And we need to run this texture, right? And this texture, so if I go to the image, as you can see, this texture is basically a pink image texture, which contains like a video. So if I run this, how do I run it? Oh, this is a sprite. This is not animation. Oh, I meant this. Yeah, this one. Okay, it does look bad. It does look bad than this. Alright, so we don't really need it. Okay, it it doesn't rotate. Alright, so we have this menu, right? And we can go into the options, and I don't know, it doesn't work that well inside the engine, but it works amazingly on the shipped game. Okay, I once set the settings to medium and ultra and plus ultra, and it works fantastically. That's the right one. Yeah, fantastically. Now there is one thing that kind of bothers me, and that is the input system. I still haven't fully figured out like how the input system actually works and how we can actually change the key bindings. So just for that, you can change them. These are changeables. These one, the jump, vaulting, sprint, interact, and flashlight. And I have said that the movement is not mappable, but I've given you the options. It's just not mappable yet. Okay, so that's the only thing. You can still remap your jump and sprint and interact and flashlight, but you cannot map the movement system. After that, we have display. I still haven't like really seen this work. even in the even in my game, I still haven't like, I tried to change it to full screen and then windowed and borderlight. It's like jumps for a second and like flashes the screen, but it doesn't change the way it is portraying. Like it doesn't change the display mode itself. I need to figure that part out as well. and then the audio works, but the all of these sliders, whenever you come to this page, will be at 0. They will not be where you want them to be or where the actual volume is. They're just at 0. So you have to drag from the 0 and set your preferable uh, preferable position. Okay, so those are the things. And if you are going out of the menu without saving your settings, then it will pop up, like it will showcase a pop-up saying unsaved settings, and then you have to apply them. Now I think that we should also have a don't want to apply option, because sometimes we change stuff and we don't want to apply it. Yeah, so many things. I have to rewatch this live to know how many things I have to do. Alright, for now, let's just apply and close it. Now, for the game itself, I have a working build. Go into the build, Windows, horror.exe. We have this working game in front of us. Yeah. And as you can see over in the options, we have the graphical settings, which currently are set to ultra because I was working previously. And we can also change all of these settings by the preset option. Okay, or right now the motion blur is at low, but we don't really need to change that. And if we go to the play, we will be spawned in the elevator of that prototyping level that we created. And it looks nice. And I have my flashlight that we can use. Wait a minute, there is a problem with YouTube. Error, what kind of error is? YouTube is not reserving how about normal latency? I cannot change that. Okay. Resume. Alright, so as you can see over here, we have the map and can move around. We have our flashlight. I have also included the leaning option, so if you're like over here, we can lean and see the hallway, and we can lean on both sides, and we can open up the door. All of the doors for now are unlocked, so we can just open them. Yeah, this is one of the place. You can get inside. You can see something happened here. Soon enough, if I get the dialects for some kind of water splatter or something like that, then we can use it to a little bit of glorify it, I will say. Other than that, we have kind of a system, like maybe a person was working on this, and then the event happened, and now they were trying to run, and so the chair is falling down. Some of the products have been falling down. Medicine product, bandage and alcohol. Okay, so this is how I'm trying to go about this, and right now the settings are in ultra, and I can actually go with the low. A loud sound. I don't know why, but wait a minute, I don't think you guys are hearing this, but okay. So as you can see, we can select any of these options and then we can apply them. But the only thing is that it causes stuff to happen. Now, the main reason why you see like very little without the flashlight is because of a thing called ambient. Is it ambient? Like, let me explain. So let's say that we have a light source. Okay, so we have a point light or a torch light, right? And we have a wall here and a wall here and then a wall here, right? Now the light goes here, okay, and it stays here if the settings are low. Okay, so on the low settings the light just stays there. But let's say that we increase it to medium or high. Okay, so now the settings are at high, then the light will go hit this wall and then it will hit this wall and stop. Okay, so it will just stay there for as long as we don't turn off the light. So, and now let's say that we have the one more thing, which is the ultra or cinematic settings or rendering. Then what will happen is that this light will go over here, then it will bounce off to this wall, and then it will bounce off to this wall. So how many times the light actually bounces? It will lose some of its power, so it will not be as shiny as it on this wall. Let's say that it was 100% over here, then it will be like 20% over here and about 2% over here, something like that. Okay, and by this we can understand why we are having completely dark environment when we are using low or maybe some other settings rather than high or ultra. I have to fix this, but we will see how well does it go with the horror environment, because right now it's horror. You cannot see anything, so it is pretty horror. And the battery light, right? And the other thing that we can do, if you set to ultra, it will be ultra. Now I also want to check in with the full screen. As you can see, did you see that? I don't even, yeah. How do I explain this? Because for you guys it goes completely dark, but for me it kind of flashes, and now it's not like full screen anymore and stuff like that. So I don't really know what is happening, and we can choose the different display resolution. As you can see that as soon as I chose a lower display resolution, the screen get lesser. But for now we just need our original one. All right, wait a minute. Okay, so as you can see, the display is working, the graphics are working. We can change the controls, like for the interact we can change it from E to, let's say, Q, and now we can interact with everything using Q. I can actually apply, go back, and you will see over here that the interaction has been changed from E to Q, and we can use Q to open and close the doors. it works somehow. It works. Now, for the people wondering about, like, we do have to solve this problem. Like, seriously, on the low, I think it's not even like bouncing off of this wall. I don't think it's even reaching this wall, because the only thing that was illuminated was the strips themselves. And one more thing that I have to point out to you guys is that the ceiling that we are using is like a grid. Okay, and what I have done is that I have created this grid to be emissive. Okay, so it's not actually a light source itself, it's just emitting light from the light, from the color, right, from the texture. So that's why it's not actually reaching that wall and creating these bounciness, and also like actually lighting up the scene. They're not doing that because it's emissiveness. For some reason at low, the emissiveness just dies, and the emissive product itself is only emitting like it's kind of weird to explain, but that's kind of what is happening here. So what do we need to solve the problem is basically have a actual light source, something like point light or a spotlight, to illuminate the world rather than using emissive texture or material. So that's the solution. I found the solution. Now, oh my god, why are you going there? Okay, now let's start working on the base anime AI, because the bugs will be fixed on like Thursday or Friday. I don't want to finish them on the Monday. Is my voice gonna? Yeah. Okay. Levels and default level. Alright. So there are a few things that a particular AI need at like all of the times, and that is nav mesh. Without nav mesh bound volume, enemy will never walk. So I'm going to use this area for our AI to move for now. We can increase it a bit more, so we have larger area we can move as much as we want. And again, we can use P to visualize where the path is. Let me increase it. All right. So now that we have the nav mesh completed, now we're going to work on the AI itself. So firstly, I'm not going to use our sandbox character as AI character. It's complicated. It makes the whole system so much entangled. Our character is working the same character like actor, and then our AI is kind of a child of our actor. It's kind of a messed up thing, but I'm not going to use CBP sandbox character for this. And I already have this, the Paragon Twin Blast. I will change this character. This is not the final AI. I'm just using it for the creation of the AI itself. Okay. So we're going to right click on this. Not over here though. we need to create a completely different folder. So AI, and we have to put it over here. Copy here. Okay, so now we have our twin blast character created. We have few things, like we have the attack sequences, and we have some things that could help making this being into a normal, like, player character rather than an AI character. So the wait a minute, did I deleted something important? No. Okay, so as you can see over here, this is the attack sequence. This is the main attack sequence from the Epic Games themselves when they were creating this actor, and we are going to use it as long as we can, and as long as we don't have our own attack sequences and behaviors, we are going to use this to kind of know that yes, the AI is actually working. So with the AI, we're going to need some behavior stuff. So we're going to create a folder for the behavior tree. Okay, and before this, we're going to go inside the not these, the blueprint class, and over here we need to search for AI controller, and simple AI controller, select, and this is going to be our base AIC. And for now, we're not going to have anything in here. We're not going to actually change anything in here. But this character itself, inside the character moment, is going to have this AI controller as the main controller. AI controller, base AIC. And the other things that we need to change here are probably the acceleration. So if you search for acceleration, then it will show this option right here, the nav movement properties, and it will have a option for using acceleration for paths. And if you disable it, I'll show you what let me show you what you will get. Because right now the AI have a simple system which will tell it to move towards us. Okay, so let me put this AI in the world, and I will launch my character. And can you see, the AI itself is not really running or walking towards us, it's just sliding towards us. So what we can do in this case is we can make this we can enable this, the use acceleration for path, and now as you can see, the actor is kind of running towards us rather than just like sliding or levitating towards us. Right, and now what we want to do is firstly have the AI follow certain kind of a path. Okay, and also I don't want the AI to move with this node right here, but move with a behavior tree, right? So let me just delete them. And this attack will also happen at a certain point. Reroute node. Use this node to start attacking. Okay, and I'm going to pin it so that it will be visible. I'm going to unpin this. How do we do this? Comment. Okay. So now, as you can see, the player is just standing. So let's make the behavior tree for the player. Base AI tree. Right. And basically in the base AI tree, what is going to happen is that we have a root that will basically run every time the AI is trying to access the tree. And from here, we can have any of these three things: selector, sequence, and simple parallel. Okay. And the difference between them, the selector, sequence, and simple parallel, is basically the sequence will run from, like, let's say that there is one node over here and then one node over here, then the first one will run before the second one. As you can see that it contains these numbers on the side, like the root doesn't have it, but the selector is 0, then 1, and then 2. So simply what the sequence will do is all of the nodes inside the sequence will follow these numbers, okay, to actually know where to go and which one to run before something else. And the selector will run between two things, okay? So it can run between the sequence or it can run between the simple parallel using some kind of like decoration, okay? If there is no decoration, the selector will not, like, it will just run the sequence forever, and once the sequence completely end, then it will go to the next one. So I will say that the sequence, the selector without a decorator is basically a sequence. Okay, and the simple parallel is basically it will run all of the tasks that it have inside here at the same time. It doesn't like have the feature to, like, go from, like, it doesn't have any priority. It runs all of the tasks at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a sequence, right? And we can name this node. So instead of the sequence, we can say that AI follow player. Okay, so inside this node we'll have all of the function or behaviors that will helps the AI or will help the AI into following the player. Okay, so first thing that we need is to have a move to node, and this move to node will get a blackboard key. So what will happen is that this move to node will get a blackboard key, and it will detect where this actor or which kind of location does exist inside this blackboard key, and it will try to make it will try to move the player or the AI to that particular position. Okay, so what basically we have to do is add our player character to this blackboard key. Okay, and we can do that by having a blackboard, but for now we don't have one, and we can have one by going over here, going to artificial intelligence and blackboard, and over here I'm just going to say base, just base blackboard. Okay, and as soon as you do that, I should have opened it up, but okay. If for some reason you don't see the blackboard over here, just go to your behavior tree, click somewhere else, and then in the details you will see the options to select your blackboard. And in the blackboard, we're going to add a new key, which is going to be an object and going to be the target actor or the player actor, and the parent is going to be the blackboard key. Not really. Now we can go with like completely simply we can do this completely simply just by going to the base class, and I'm going to search for our CBP sandbox character. So now our target actor is basically following our sandbox character actor. Okay, and that's it. That's the only thing that we need to worry about. Now we can have categories to these keys, but for now we can just have none. Now instead of the self actor, we're going to select the target actor. So as you can see, move to target actor. Okay, so instead of just simple move to it, now it says move to target actor. Let's save it. I think it tried. No, it didn't. Well, we are not using the blackboard, the behavior tree, right? Yeah. So inside the base ACI, I think we need to have some kind of option for it to run the tree, run behavior tree. Let me put this over here. Okay, so it is moving, but the move target is none. Why the move target is none? What? Okay, let me just make it. So instead of using the pre-built task, we can also make our own tasks. So we can go to the new task. I'm going to create a new folder called tasks, and inside here we're going to have btt task underscore move to. Okay, going to save it again, and then edit it over here. So we need variables like firstly the actor key, a self key, okay, is going to be a type of a blackboard key selector. And then we're going to have another one which is going to be target key. Okay, and both of them are going to be inside the category of keys, right? And inside the functions, we're going to go inside the override, and we're going to receive execute AI. And now we're going to get the self key. So basically us move to the target key, the player. Okay, so we're going to get this, get the blackboard value as objects for both of them. Can we get it as an actor? Yep, we can. And from here we're going to get the move to AI move to pawn. Actor reference is not compatible with the pawn. So I guess we don't need the self key. So controlled pawn will go inside here, inside the AI move to, and on success we will say that it succeeded. So finish, execute, success. All right, so these are the things. Firstly, we will receive an event AI that it will try to move to the actor, and once it has succeeded, only then it will finish the execution. And now we can go inside the base AI, and from here we can get our custom task ptt task move to, and over here, as you can see, the target key have to be the target actor. Now let's see it in the work. As you can see, it is moving towards us. Where are you going? What? Okay, so it's just moving towards 000. So that means that the target actor is not valid. What if I set the CBP to be many? Kill him. Have I not saved the blackboard yet? Base class is actor, and over here the base class is our CBP character. Wait a minute. Get player pawn. Get the target key. Get player pawn. And we need to check if this is equal to this one, and only run if it's true. So many things. Hi, AI. How about we just get the player pawn and we send it to us. Okay, that kind of worked. All right, so okay. So for some reason this target key is not, oh, I know the target. No, it's not none. It's going to get set it up when we go inside the behavior tree. We set it up as the target actor, and the target actor is the sandbox whatever. How about we print this? Print string. Get value as actor. Get display name. It didn't display anything. Okay, so it doesn't have any name. How is going to, what? As get value as object. Oh, we have yeah, I think we have to set this up inside the BPIC or something like that, right? I think in the variables we have to set up the blackboard. Oh, not in the variables, it already exists. We have to just show inherited variables, and in the AI we have the blackboard. Okay, no new event graph. And this blackboard, we have to basically set this blackboard as stuff. So what we wanted to do is we want to set the key values here. Okay, so in the begin play, as soon as we set up the behavior tree, after that we have to set up the set value as object. Okay, so it needs a key name and it needs the object value. Okay, and what we are going to do is inside the key name, we're going to make this the literal name. Make literal name, and this name is have to be similar to this, so it have to be the target actor. Okay, so it's going to say target actor, and the object value is actually going to be get player pawn, and put that there. Compile, save. Now go back here to move to, and we're going to set the actor at the target actor instead of the player pawn, and we are also going to display the name. Let's see. As you can see, it is moving. Yeah, we finished the first. Okay. We finished the first obstacle. All right, so now that is done. Now the next thing follows is that the AI can follow a certain path, like a spline path that we can set up in the world, and afterwards we can use that path. I mean, if in the middle of like following the path we see the player, the AI will run towards the player, attack, or something like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is disconnect this and move it to the side, and now we're going to create another sequence, and this sequence is going to be called AI follow path. Okay, and it's going to be the same AI move to, but it's like kind of a different thing. So this time we're going to go over here and say yeah, we need to create a new task. PB task follow path. Okay, and in here again in the overview we're going to get this, and inside the controller pawn this time we are actually going to cast to our enemy AI. Okay, so what we're going to do, by the way, there are two ways to do this. We can do the following part inside of our enemy AI, like the character blueprint itself, and this can be basically a simple trigger for it. And yeah, so either we do that, or we can yeah, like either we either we do the path following inside the system, or we do it over here, which can be a little bit it will be tasking, and it will be performance heavy. Right, so what do we need is inside the variables we're going to need to have a path. Okay, and it's going to be a type of an actor, a specific actor, so we need to create that actor. And this is going to be AI path. Okay, open it up, and this will contain a spline. Compile and save. All right, so this path will have value as AI path instance editable, so that we can choose it inside the world, and that's kind of it. After this, what we're going to do is we're going to have a event, or we can have a blueprint interface, AI actions. Okay. And the first function is going to be start following path. Okay. So now let's go back to the Twin Blast class settings. I'm going to add the AI actions. And now let's get the start following path. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the path. We're going to get spline or the name. Let's name this to be path. Get path. So right now we have the spline that we can use to detect where do we want to go. Okay. Get spline point at. Okay. And get all spline points, get number of spline points, and then we're going to go for each loop. Oh no, no. For loop, yeah, it's just going to be a for loop. For loop with break, yeah. For loop with break. For each name, for loop with break. So we get the first index and we get the last index. Number of the spline points will not have 0 included, so it will be 1 minus the number of spline points. So it's going to be like this. That would be our last index. And after this, we're going to get the spline point at. We're going to break the spline point. And we're going to get the position and we're going to move our actor to that particular position. Okay, so inside the loop body, we're going to say AI move to destination. Or we can not do the for each loop and we can just go with another number, $n current point index integer. And what we're going to do is we're basically going to check, is this integer, okay, equal to these spline points? And if it is, we're not going to run it. Okay, so everything else is going to basically happen inside the for loop of false. And upon success, we're going to go back and run it again. Okay, so we get the first integer, we do this, then we have to also like uh, increase this point, right? So after this, we're going to add 1 to whatever the current point number is, and the point index is going to be this one. Compile, save. Now let's put the path over here. So firstly, the AI should come to this position, and once it succeeds in reaching this position, then it should reach this one, which is going to be about this far. Okay, so we're going to see this, but before we can do any of them, we have to come back to the follow path. We're going to come over here and we're going to call for that function that we just created, and this is going to be path or something. I forgot. Start following path, and the target is going to be the controlled pawn. And after this is going to be finish, execute, success. In the base enemy AI, we're going to get it, and we're going to tell it to follow the path, and we're going to get like yeah, how do we get the success, if we succeeded into it or not? Oh yeah, by binding. Yeah, so what we can do is in our AI, let me just rename this. So this is going to be our base AI character, and inside our base AI character, what we're going to have is like a bind event. So once we succeed, we're going to run that bind event, and it's basically called event dispatchers. So inside the event dispatcher, we're going to create a new event called reached location. Okay, I'm going to call it right before this, and what we're going to do is we're going to finish this execution on that binding. So remember what it said, reached location. So the binding event will be on reached location. So assign on reached location is going to be basically finish execute finish execution, and that's it. But this cannot be the same actor as the base character AI and stuff like that. So for that reason, we have to cast to base, oh my god, AI character. Okay, so let's see it work. Yeah, it's not. Well, we know the problem because I haven't actually told him which path should the actor follow. Right, let me also like delete this. put our base and AI, and inside the defaults we're going to choose path AI. Still not working, but everything else is actually working, I guess. Let me just see that. Do we have input over here? Print string hello. Okay, uh, it did work. We are calling that function. It's just that for some reason this spline point, or maybe this is not equal to, because the number of the spline points is my brain is hurting. So let's go with the print string hello. Okay, okay. Now instead of the hello, I will print the position. Now that's the problem. That's the problem right here. The location of this first spline point should be negative 1000x, but it's not showcasing over there. Why? Word. Okay. We're still not moving there. Oh, we haven't set it up the path. It should, like pawn, it should be self over here. Okay. So as you can see, is what? Why are you going? Oh my god. Why it is happening? Nah. Uh, uh, Why is it plus 922? Look at him go. Hey, I did. It should be put. Oh, Hello. Okay, so it should be position, but for some reason it's not. And uh, yeah, work gets blind point at a position. Is there any other kind of get point? Get oh yeah, get transformation at spline point. And now we can get the point over here, and we can get it to be world split and use this location instead. How about this? Yeah, yeah. As you can see, it reaches our first point. Then once it has reached the first point, it will like move to the next one, and then it will reach the last point. Now what we want to do, we just don't want him to stay at the last point. We want him to go back once he like once the AI has reached the last point. I want him to stay there for like few seconds, and then I want him to return back to the first point by following the path again. Okay, so how we can do that is, firstly, in the truth, we're going to come over here, and we're going to set we're going to give it a delay, actually. So this delay will determine how much time the character is going to stay there. I want him to stay there for 6 seconds. Okay, and I also don't want to say that he has reached the limit, or do I want to say that? Yeah, I don't want him to stay that. I am already creating a loop here. So basically what this says is that if the AI is following the path, it will never actually like finish this task. Okay, uh, which means that nothing else that is going to be after this task will happen, because it's never ending. Okay, for it to end, we have to add this dispatcher somewhere. Okay, so let's say that I want him to stay there for 6 seconds, and after completing, I want to say that whatever it is, so I want to have a truth boolean node. Okay, and what I want to have is whatever value is inside this forward, we're just going to change it. And basically, like if it's true, it's going to be false. If it's false, it's going to be true. And depending on that, we're going to come over here and subtract it. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to move forward, it should be this. If you want to move forward, then it's going to be A, and if you want to move backward, it's going to be B. All right. Whoa. I think there was an earthquake. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So current index, if we are moving forward, we want to increase the index, and if we are moving backward, we want to decrease the index. But we cannot really do it, right? Like let's say that it turns to true, right? This is equal to themselves. Now it doesn't really know what is happening. So what we want to do, we're just going to set it to this one, right? And I think this should work. Now give me another few minutes. I will be right back with you and we'll continue this. It's going to be a hydration break this time, so see you in a bit. I'm back, and it's been such a long time that I forgot how the PNG tuber work, and I minimized it, and now I don't think you are seeing the animation. Well, all right. So using this algorithm, we know that the AI should work nicely, but we need more of these nodes to exactly know that it's working, right? And also some like these, and not under though. Okay, so what I want is the AI to go to this point, then it will follow this path, reach this point, then it will wait for 6 seconds. Why 6? I don't know. And then it will return back following this path to this point, then it will wait again for 6 points, and then it will basically repeat this sequence. Okay, I actually do want to see it though. As you can see, I mean, we are also getting the visual representation, which is where the point is. And now it will stay here for 6 seconds, and then it should return back. So 3, okay. I was about to start the countdown. All right. Right now the AI doesn't have any perception. It doesn't really know Now this is a problem. Oh yeah, I got it. This is the problem. So what the problem is that the current point index, if it's 0, right, then it's not equal to the spline point, but we still do need to like make it true in some sense, right? um okay, let me show you. So firstly, we're going to have a or option or boolean, okay, and this is going to be get connected. So if either of them are true, then it's going to say true. If none of them are true, then only then it's going to say false. So what we want to do is we want to check, is the current point index is equal to, okay, equal to 0, and okay, now we're going to use a and boolean, and the forward is not really forward, so not boolean. Okay, so what we are actually having here, let me visualize it for you guys. So if you don't know, there are two types of boolean gates. Okay, there is a type called or, and then there is type called and. Okay, the difference between these two gates is that, let's say that there are 3 candidates, and all of them, like we want to take all of their votes. They can either say true or they can say false. Okay, similarly, this is the same thing which will occur on the end. We have 3 or more candidates. They all can say either true or they can all either say false. Now here is where the gate actually work. Okay, so this or and the gates work. The or gate will say that if all of them says false, okay, no, let's not think it from the false side, let's think it from the true side. Okay, if all of them says true, I will say true. If even one of them says true, then I will say true. But if none of them says that, if none of them says true, then only then I will return false. Yeah, so if the vote are true, it will be true. If vote are true, false, then it will be true. And only if the votes are false, it will return false. Now on the AND gate, it's kind of completely opposite. What will AND gate say? That if all of the votes are true, so true, I will say true. Okay, but if even one of the votes says that it's false, okay, so true, false, then it will return false. And in the case of all false, it will still return false. So this is the difference between the OR gate and the AND gate. AND gate basically determine if any of them are saying no, and if they are, it will return false. And the OR gate will say if any one of them are saying true, I will return true. Okay, so that's the difference, and we can use them over here. So what do we need is we want the point index to be 0. That's the first case. And the second case is that we want the forward to be flipped. Okay, so we should be in the process of moving backward, and only then it will return true. Okay, so here's what's happening. So the spline points will be turned to false, so it will be false when we are like on 0 point, but it will be true, but this output will be true again if this one is true, and this one will be reaching true when the center point index is 0 and we are moving backward. I hope you guys got it. If you didn't, then I can make a completely separate video on explaining gates and Boolean nodes. Okay, now let's test it again. The AI should be moving like this, going over here, and it should be moving back. Let's have a break till the AI do this. Did it lag out? Why is it lagging? Why is it lagging? Like it's working. It reached the end and we'll wait for 6 seconds. 3, 2, 1, move. And we'll reach this point. Okay, it didn't do that. Why? Oh wait a minute. It is true that's 0, and when we are going with 0, oh, we can do one thing. We don't even need the forwarder stuff. We can just say that if the current point index is less than 0, then just make it 0. No, not 0. Yeah, if the current point is less than 0, then make it 0 and make the following statement true. Yeah, we can do that. So instead of the equal to, we want to have less than 0. Okay, so if it's less than 0, then the branch will go up and will follow through it again. But this time it will say plus. Let's see. I'm just focusing on the 0 part. If this door is open, I think we can make him also like follow inside. Okay, now it reached 0. It will wait for 6 seconds and it will move around. Yeah, okay, we did it. It's not clean, it's not the permanent or the finished product, but it's something. The AI is following a path. All right, now what I want to do is, I also created this option, is that the single key door. Okay, so this is single key door and this is a combination key door. There is no color difference, but the text says that. So this is a single key door, and what I have created is that this option, the auto option, open auto option, which will basically says that it doesn't need a key, and you can just open it up. Like it's open by default. It's unlocked, I would say. So what we want to do is I want to move this node right here inside the place over here, and then one node will reach somewhere deep here, and then yeah, it will wait for 6 seconds there, and then it will come back. Let's see if that works. Let me make it small so that we can see it. So the character should reach this point while moving through this gate. Okay. So for some reason it's not finding that point. And it got what? That's not good. And probably the reason is this: the nav mesh. Okay, the nav mesh is not going through the door, and we want it to go through the door. To do this, I think we have to go in here and nav path door frame nav can affect the navigation false. Fill collision underneath for nav mesh, maybe not. Similarly with the door. Then why is it not working now? I don't want this to happen. What to do? I have to figure this one out. So I will do this in the next live. So going through the gate is not working, but the path is working. Let me also undo the path. Okay. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need is the seeing perception. Okay, so for this live, I'm just going to work on the see look perception, and then we can end this. Or it is actually time to end the live. I really don't want to. I don't want to do a 3-hour live today. Let me see if, yeah, it's just a small perception. It's not that big of a deal. So let's go over here, new folder, and perception. And in the artificial intelligence, we need to add a environment query. I think it is, right? Wait a minute. No. It's over here. Perception. Where is I have to search. Perception in Unreal. Oh my god, my keyboard. Yeah, it is in EQS. Okay. I was right the first time. I don't know why I don't believe myself. So this is going to be simple seeing perception. I don't know if we need one or more than them. So I'm just going to say perception for now. Okay. And in here, we have the root and we have the profiler. And from the root, we're going to get a perceived actor, right? And sense to use, we're going to use sight. Or is it something else? Grid, guiding path, perceived actor, current location, composite actor, or class. CBP, sandbox character. Wait a minute. I think, yeah. Okay. I Courier. And do we have EQS? And environmental query and Q. Nope. Listener context. I need to get a lesson on this. I forgot how query works. What is happening? Yeah, I think we have to work on this. And I also don't remember how we can visualize the EQS. All right, so for now, did I put it the AI controller? All right, so for the perception, yeah, let's do the perception in the next live as well. I have to watch a few videos on this and come back to you guys. What else can we do though? Yeah, one thing that we can do still is create some kind of like division, right? What I really mean is, like, let's say that it reaches this end, and what I want to do is once it reaches this end, it will start to follow the player instead of us, like following the path. Okay, and once it reaches us, then it will go back and start following the path, and then it will, once it reaches this point, then it will come back to us and then do it again. Or maybe we can do it when we are on this point. It depends. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the AI character, and I'm going to make this reach location to call over here. Okay, and instead of making it a complete loop, right, making it complete loop like coming over here and then doing the other stuff, what we will be doing is we will be basically sending this following path through here. Yeah, kind of, but that will break everything. Maybe just maybe you can just create a node like this, and it will just reset everything for us. Right, now let's go back to the base AI, and once we have completed this, we're going to move on to this one. Okay, and once we have completed this, then we're going to go back to this one. So it will like switch between these. What it does, yeah. So let's position ourselves over here. Wow, it's lagging too much. As you can see that the actor is going to follow. Wait a minute. It's going to cause a problem because the acceptance radius is too small. I'm going to make it 150. Okay. So as you can see, he's following the path, and once he reaches this point, it will try to catch us. Let's go right here. Yeah, it will wait for 6 seconds and then it will start to follow us. As you can see, it's trying to reach us, and as soon as he does that, it will go back and start, like this time it will follow backward, and once it will reach this position right here, it will start to follow me again, and then the cycle continues. So as you can see that with few things we can interrupt this, right? Just like this, we can interrupt the path following anytime that we want. We can perfect it. It's not a perfect system yet, but the base AI has been created. And before I go, I also want to put this in my map. So the first thing is going to be like the actor will follow the basic ground. Okay, so let's go to project files, world actor, and AI path. Okay, from here the AI will walk towards here, then it will move towards here, then probably there. Okay. maybe over here. Or yeah, this is just a showcase, so we can basically do this. All right, and now we can put our AI somewhere over here. Content, blueprints, AI. So firstly, he will go find a way to reach this point. Then it will try to follow this path, yeah, to here. And then it will come back here, and then it will follow it back to this position. And in between, once it reaches one point, it will try to reach the player, and then so on. But this map doesn't contain a nav mesh volume, so we need to create that. Nav mesh bound volume. Okay. All right. Now we just need to move it. Yeah. So this is our nav meshed hallway. Okay. Player, the AI is in the nav mesh, which is a good thing, but it cannot go inside the lift. All right. Oh yeah, I I haven't setted the path for the AI, so let's search for AI base AI character, and in the default the path is going to be AI path. So now, oh my god, as soon as I put some kind of weight on the system, oh my god, they might just give up. Well, as you can see, it reaches this point, then it will follow up to this. Hey. And now he will try to chase us, the player. So he's not doing. Oh, 6-second delay. We can actually run, and he will try to follow us. Hehehe. Can never catch me. Okay, and once he passes through me, wow. So once he will reach the player, then he will move back to following his path. Now there is one problem, and I know it's enough reason to not put this prototype as a playable stuff, because right now, as you can see, we are inside the room, but if you go over here, there is no way for the AI to get inside. So we do need to create something like some kind of way for the AI to reach us. I still don't know what it will be. And the AI is not optimized because I'm getting around 60 FPS and sometimes it reaches below it. So we also need to optimize them. Too much work. But at least he's not as terrified terrifying as the one I had before. I almost had too many jump scares. Okay, now that's just bad luck. Here. Ah, as you can see, this is a bug. As I leave the area, it's not following us. So what we can do is we can go to the AI move to, and for some reason, if we were to fail, what we're going to do is give it a delay. Yeah, and we're going to go back and try to do the sequence again. Okay, just as a fail-safe mechanism. All right, I know it will work, so I'm not going to actually test it. It takes too much time for him to do the circulation. Anyways, this is our project, and the today's live today live has been completed. uh yeah, I will try to build this just so that I know that there are no problems. The OBS is disconnecting. Yeah. Where is the output log? I want it to be docked into layout. Right. So mostly I'm not seeing even a warning sign, which is really nice. And you guys should focus on any kind of warning signs or any kind of errors that you are getting in when you're compiling or building your game. So make sure that none of them are occurring. Now, while this is happening, we cannot do much, but yeah, I can actually tell you guys which kind of AI we will be creating in the prototyping. So what I want is that imagine that there is a entity, okay, and this entity will go around, and let's imagine that this is a map, okay, and what this entity will do, it will go around this map, okay, go to a certain vending machine or maybe a food station, wherever there is something to eat. Okay, so this entity will follow this path, go to that position, and it will take out some food and it will eat it. And after eating, it will go back, follow some other path, or maybe this certain path. We can just set that this at this point, wait for a few minutes, do this animation, and then move on to your next point. And then it will follow that path, come back maybe to some other vending machine, and then it will stay there, eat some food, and basically do a bigger loop, so it's not that repetitive. And after it has, like, this is the idle mode for this AI, and the player have two options. Either they go stealth. As you can see, the yeah, the build is successful. It's that quick. So once you have like compiled all of the shaders, it's so quick to build the game. Well, back to the explaining. So players have two options. They can either go with the stealth, okay? They can hide from this entity while it's eating or something, it can move around and go to places. Or the player have option to shoot him or maybe hurt him in some way. But in this case, if they are unable to kill him at the first point, okay, if even the 1 HP is left in the entity, it will burst. Okay, it will burst and it will create fog and it will shrink. Okay, it will create fog and it will shrink and it will hide away. Okay, it will hide from us and it can appear at any time or it can spawn at any time, but this is the simple sequence. It will create fog, it will shrink down and it will hide. This is when we attack him unannounced. The AI doesn't know that we exist. It doesn't really know what happened to him, and it's just like quick and like impact. I don't have words to name it, but yeah. So basically, this once we hit him, but the AI doesn't know that we exist. It will create a fog. It will shrink and then it will hide away. Now, there is another thing. What if the AI sees us? So if the AI sees us and even if we are like running away, it will chase us. And once it knows of our existence before we shoot him or something like that, it will not go away. It like kind of takes in the bullet, but it will try to reach us and if it does, if it captures us, it gets inside the radius that we set all the times. I'm sorry about that. If it will reach the inside the radius, then we basically die. Okay, it will eat us. We are the food that it was looking for. So that's the thing, is it's a food loving but scared AI, and I want to make him the entity and the kind of like enemy for our prototype. In the demo you will actually see most of the other monster as well, but for now this is the post monster itself. All right, so that's my plan for the AI. Now let's check out our game. But before that, let me close everything. It's Windows Horror. Remember, I deleted the last one, so it's like the new prototype. What? Right? As you can see, there he is. He will reach this point and then go back. Hey, I'm faster. You can hide because he doesn't really have a perception system, so hiding doesn't really matter that much. And after 6 seconds, it will try to capture us back. And right now, I don't know what the frame rates are, but the error on YouTube says that they are less than 60 frames. So how about yeah, the option is L now. In the graphics, we set it to high. Okay. By the way, there is a way. For now, there's a way to actually defeat him. We can just go out of the nav mesh bound. Oh, yeah, there is not. It will try to follow us. All right, yeah, good. That was a good time. I will see you guys in the next live, which should be happening tomorrow. I don't want to delay them anymore. I have to finish like so many things. I have to build this level, and I have to build this AI, and what else? Yeah, I have to work on the user interface. So I have to do these three things within a week. All right then. I will see you in the next video, and there can be few things that I will do offline, but I will tell them to you. Okay, I will showcase how they work. And if you have any questions about any topic and any actor blueprint, just comment them, or maybe you have like a question but I didn't really show them, or it's not like explainable by the text. You can still comment down and I can make a video on it so you understand everything correctly. Okay, and just like everyone else, I'm still learning. I don't know how AI works, so don't be like I don't know a lot of things. Just go with the flow. Just start creating game and start building stuff, and if there is something that you don't know, we can learn it on the way. Okay, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm learning while making my first game. Project is big, but I have already created small games, so it have to be a big project. Right then, so that was it from me. I will see you in the next live. I'm saying it again and so bye bye.